Hey everyone, Joel Nelson with Beaver Dam Tip Ups. So much of your success before you ever hit the ice is really determined by how you rig. Guides, people that fish every day for a living, they know this. They set up everything to the nines to make sure that everything has a specific place, time, and reason for its use. For example, the first thing I start with is good coated tip-up line. It's really easy to use out on the ice, super malleable, it lays out nicely, it doesn't knot up. If there are knots, they're really easy to undo. So a premium coated tip-up line like the kind Beaver Dam sells, really good stuff. From there, I always use a swivel of any kind. Now, you really have to determine what clarity of water you're going to be fishing in. For a lot of the stuff I do here in southern Minnesota, even central Minnesota, I'm looking at tying off a leader to this that's 6 to 10 feet long. That's going to be important because I want this swivel to live outside of this eyelet anytime that it's set up. So keep that in mind. When I tie up my swivel, I'm already making plans for my leader. So a lot of guys will use a smaller swivel and try and make sure that it'll slip through that eyelet of the tip up really easily. I tend to go the other direction. I like to go with something a little bit beefier and just make sure that it never gets reeled up in the spool until you're ready to stow your tip up and be done with its use. So a good thing to remember with this tip up line is that the knot that works best for me is definitely a Palomar knot. So go ahead, get your Palomar knot set up, tie it off, and once you have everything snugged down, make sure and clip off that excess tip-up line because it is a little bit bulkier. So the leader is another really important part of what we're doing here. I use fluorocarbon almost exclusively, not just because of its clarity and the fact that it's almost translucent in water and fish can't see it very well, but because of the fact that, especially with the higher pound tests, it tends to be just a little bit more stiff. That keeps my bait and everything laid out very nicely so that nothing balls up. The minnow has less of a tendency to swim into the sinker or anything else and really get fouled up. So again, length for me, I'm looking anywhere from 6 to 10 feet. I don't need a ton of line out there, and again, that's going to promote the fact that when I've got my tip up set out, that sinker will be outside of the eyelet. And at this point, really, any knot that you have a lot of confidence in, whether a Palomar, improved clinch like I just tied, will work great for tying your fluoro off as your leader to your swivel. Now at this point, literally, I can rig it a number of different ways. I can put a heavier hook on the end, and that'll help sink the entire rig with the minnow on, or I can put a lightweight hook on in any kind of a sinker, whether it be clip-on or slip sinker with a stop, to help achieve the same thing. But again, this idea of getting a premium coated tip-up line that's very easy to handle on ice once you're bringing in a fish or setting it up, having a good swivel, and then tying it off to a leader, preferably fluorocarbon of the appropriate length. All of those rigging tips are going to get you in the right situation, be ready to catch fish and do it really efficiently.